It's now time for Let's Talk with Jesse Stewart on WSBS and on the free WSBS app.
All right, and on the program this morning, we have a couple of guests talking about the UFO park here in Berkshire County, located in Sheffield, and also talking about the connection with the Roswell Museum and Convention Center in Roswell,
there was
New Mexico.
Debbie Opperman, the Great Barrington Historical Society, and the induction of the incident that happened in 1969.
Yeah.
And the impact that it has, not only on Great Barrington, the Berkshires, the nation, because it is nationwide, and internationally. I mean, it's been recognized in the UN Council. It's been, Governor Baker has recognized it, and it's a true event. And that's been many times reinforced over and over again,
right?
Even to the point where there's been some attorneys, Debbie and Frank Kessler, who have interviewed Thom Reed and his family. I mean, this is a big deal, and it is comparable to Roswell.
Yeah, and of course, Thom Reed, one of the people that we've talked to over the years, who was witnessed the incident, was a witness to the incident, but not just Thom, but I mean, people all throughout this region remember what happened, and of course, we want to bring Elizabeth Michael. We have Elizabeth Michael on the phone with us this morning, and Elizabeth manages the Roswell Convention Center in Roswell, New Mexico, and is a collaborative with the UFO Museum. Of course, Elizabeth is involved with the UFO Festival, which just went by this past July. But Elizabeth, you've had a great relationship over the years with, of course, the UFO Park here in Sheffield with Thomas Reed as well. So tell us a little bit about, your thoughts on the park and how things are going from your perspective.
Well, I think the park is a wonderful place for people to go and just gather. It is a wonderful, has these ties to the community. And, this incident was the first to ever be in history. And, the town should embrace it. It's just really fascinating. One of the things that I think we have in common, which is really neat, is that the Roswell Daily Record, which is our local news source here in Roswell, New Mexico, and WSBS were the first to cover incidents in our area. And so, of course, it was Tom J., I believe at the time, who managed WSBS and was the first to cover Thom Reed's Berkshire's UFO. And the Roswell Daily Record, Barbara Back is the owner, and her grandfather, and it's been in the family, her grandfather was working during the time that we had the 1947 incident here in Roswell. And so Roswell's just kind of really embraced that. And as you mentioned, we did have our 75th anniversary, and it is the largest UFO festival in the world.
Wow.
And yeah, it's great. It's
That's
a big
awesome.
draw for tourists. It brings in a lot of revenue to our town, and it's just a wonderful way for us to celebrate and share our history with the world. So just take, the Thom Reed's incident. I have a report that I have in my hand. It's a Judging report. It's the classification rating for what happened during that time. And we have all this research that the International UFO Museum and Research Center has done. And because of that, they have a display in their museum for Thom Reed's Berkshire's UFO. And one of the things that we do here is we bring in a lot of different speakers to come in. And Tom's been here for many years. I want to say 12 plus, I guess.
Okay.
And
excellent. One thing Rob and I were talking about, prior to going on the air, with the UFO park, it's a great opportunity, tourism opportunities, a way to bring more money to the town, of course. Rob, you were the best man in a wedding too long. You want to tell us about that UFO, or the wedding that took place at the UFO park?
Yeah, it was just about a year ago. It was a lot of fun. I was fortunate enough to be the best man. It was I'm pretty sure one of, if not the only one, in a UFO park I've ever heard of. So piece of history, right? It's all good.
And they want to come and check it out. They have an interest. They want to see what is what's happening and what kind of information do you have that can, corroborate what's going on. And, that is one of the things that your area has. There is a ton of research out there. You have many different people. Ben Hampton, who is a former FBI agent,
Yep.
and he actually wrote a letter to Debbie Opperman, talking about all of the investigations that he did into the Thom Reed Berkshire's UFO, because he was so fascinated with what was going on. He wanted to find out for himself. And I mean, who better than a retired FBI agent?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Phenomenal. And then you have all these different reports from different government agencies that have come in, and then you have, people that are in support of Thom Reed's dad, which is Howard Reed, and he was a politician. He was an attorney in the area, and he was very well respected. One being, Christopher Dodd, which was a senator, and then you had Governor O'Neill. So, and then of course, as Rob had mentioned, it went to the UN, and so the really fascinating thing about all this is that your area has it's the first incident that is in history. It is true. And, what we find hard, what it's hard for us here in Roswell, you have the International UFO Museum, you have the Roswell Convention Center, you have the Roswell Daily Record, and we all of us want to, support and be a part of what you all have going on there. But it's really hard for us because a lot of times there's some damaging articles that come out, and they're written by a gentleman by the name of Terry Cowgill. And, when it's brought to our attention, it hinders and it holds the opportunity, to support this, because it affects us. And we want to bring light to that, because it's really important for us in Roswell and for your area to just really embrace that, because for one thing, we do support what is going on in that area, and we support the park. The businesses here, the ones that I've just mentioned, we all support it as a benefactor, and so we want it to be, embraced by the area, and I don't understand why it isn't.
Yeah, you might get an article here or there, or you might get somebody who has a negative attitude or whatever. But if anything, it seems like the park has grown. Like, again,
it is.
There's been many artifacts added to the park. There's, like we said, there's been wedding, there's been events. So it's
Great.
Actually
Terrific sponsors, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Ancient
the sponsors
Aliens,
were-
Roswell,
Yeah.
right, Liz?
Yeah.
Roswell sponsors the park. I mean, so absolutely, it's got national, the TV shows that have been filmed there.
Sure, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't go. It's awesome. It's a beautiful place.
obviously TV shows are interested in filming there, so it's great to see. I think and if anything, it's just fun for people to explore. And you got people that hear about it that may have never been to the Berkshires before, but now they want to come to the Berkshires just to check this out. And then while they're checking this out, they're finding other attractions in the Berkshires that they may not have known about or always heard about, but now they it's kind of a gateway into seeing those other attractions because of the UFO park. So I think it's a win-win for sure.
Oh, for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, Liz, you use this term, and I love it. New England's Roswell, and I think that's fantastic. That's a great quote. That is how it connects. It is on the same scale as the Roswell incident.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
It is, and if anything more, probably more so, because it's the first one to be, put in history, to be found to be significantly true. And, on July, I think it was July 2nd, 2015, we interviewed Debbie Opperman for the Roswell Daily Record. And one of the things that she had mentioned is that for historians and townships to be officially inducted in as a historical event, it must have a life-changing impact in the area. And to this day, so that people in Shepfett and Greater Barrington and locals recall and mention this in historical encounter. And so we want to kind of help and keep this positivity going, which I think is really great. And we want to help. And so one of the things that we're doing is, as Rob had mentioned, is we do sponsor that area and sponsor the park, and the Roswell Daily Record will be doing a little bit more. And in fact, we have 3 people in the area that will be sitting on the foundation for Thom Reed's Monument Park. We are going to be doing a lot of things to just bring a lot of attention to your area and a lot of attention to what has happened and how you guys can grow that as a community and really embrace that and bring it together. I mean, there's so many things that that can be done. And as a matter of fact, Rita King, to memorialize her father, I believe she was on your show, if I'm correct, Jesse.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Yes. So, and I spoke with her personally as well, and she has a bench that will be dedicated to her father and also to Stevie Ray Vaughan. So, and it would be so lovely for the businesses and for the town because we bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. And the residents and the businesses, they just all benefit from it. And it's just a beautiful thing to celebrate. So I would really like to see that over there. And, any kind of assistance that I can lend or the team that I work with can lend, we'd love to do that.
Excellent. Well, we have a few minutes left, Rob and Elizabeth. Anything else you want to mention, about the relationship with the UFO Park and Roswell Museum, or, each entity on its own?
One of the things that we're going to try to do, and we're working really hard, is we would like to get some, monument markers out there to talk about the history and have it in the park so when people visit, they'll have some information, a little bit more information about,
Gotcha.
What transpired and what was going on. And it's, I think it's a great way to, just pull people in and also have a place for them to come. It's very serene there. It's a beautiful park. It's by a waterway, and I just think that there are many, many possibilities and things that we can do together as two communities that have the same types of experiences, and just really do what we can to just bring a lot of positivity to the area.
Excellent. Rob, anything else you want to pass on?
It's just the one thing I want to drive home is it's just such a big opportunity for, again, Great Barrington, the Berkshires. It just gets, it's so large, it's so big, and it's such a great place. So I guess if I'm gonna add anything, it's if you haven't seen it, check it out, and there's a lot of opportunity to grow.
Excellent. Well, this morning we've been speaking with Rob Tersey, who's the PR ambassador for the UFO Monument Park, located in Sheffield, and we've been speaking with Elizabeth Michael, who manages the Roswell Convention Center in Roswell, New Mexico. And we want to thank you both for coming on the air this morning and kind of getting us up to date with the park and the relationship that you have.
Thank you very much. I'm fortunate to be here. Thanks, Jesse. Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. Thank you. And that'll wrap up Let's Talk this morning on your hometown station in the Berkshires, 860 AM and 94.1 FM, WSBS and WSBS.com. Time is 9:25.